Fox 5 exclusive. More than a dozen suspected gang members now behind bars after a year-and-a-half-long investigation by the NYPD. This includes 2 men charged in the shooting death of 1-year-old DeVell Gardner at a Brooklyn cookout last year. Gardner, the youngest victim in the city's summer of gun violence, and only Lisa Evers was there for the arrests as police brought the suspects into custody.
Lisa's joining us now with more on her exclusive look inside the bust. Lisa.
Well, Darian, Steve, it took thousands of hours of detective work, but now 18 members of one of the city's most violent gangs, the Hoolies, are being held accountable for 4 murders and 8 non-fatal shootings. We were the only camera allowed as the NYPD and their partners executed an arrest warrant on the alleged leader and took him and the others into custody without firing a single shot or anyone being injured.
I must say, Lisa, this is the city of New York is much safer today. This crew is one of the worst crews that I've ever investigated.
Early one rainy morning this week, more than 70 NYPD officers and other local and federal law enforcement gathered at the NYPD Gun Violence Suppression Division headquarters to take pre-indicted alleged gang members off the streets, including those involved in the July murder of 1-year-old DeVell Gardner Jr. So we're putting on these bulletproof vests here before we go in to the takedown. The NYPD recommended it, and it's for our safety. I'm wearing one, and so is my cameraman. Supervisors doled out assignments to the various teams and briefed the officers. This was not a massive gang sweep, but precision policing aimed at the most violent offenders, all pre-indicted by a grand jury. 3 of them wanted for taking a baby's life.
That's a soul that never got a chance to enjoy life. Think about that. Think about the impact that ultimately we're making. That's NYPD. That's our teams at its finest.
We were there as the lineup of officers called the Stack went into an apartment building on Chauncey Street in Bed-Stuy. About half an hour later, they emerged with Travis Scott, no relation to the rapper, the alleged Hoolies gang leader. He was taken for processing at the 77th Precinct. Back at police headquarters, NYPD Chief of Detectives James ESSIG says this case was a priority.
This was such a horrific incident where a 22-month-old is sitting on the sidewalk and gets killed on this senseless violence.
This major case was carefully coordinated with Brooklyn DA Eric Gonzalez and his team. They announced the indictments of 18 members of the Hoolies in a 63-count indictment, including murder, murder conspiracy, and weapons charges. Deshaun Austin was charged with shooting DeVell Gardner Jr., Akeem Artis, as the getaway driver.
I know that today's indictment will take some of the most prolific and violent offenders off the street and will have a positive impact on the quality of life and safety in Brooklyn.
Now, Chief ESSIG says that now that the courts are open and functioning again, they plan to continue working with the DA and their other partners to go after those directly responsible for pulling the triggers. The goal is to turn around the rising gun violence before more innocent lives are taken. That's the latest, Derry. Back to you.
Wow, great work, Lisa. Thank you.